Hey Beasties, welcome back. It's your girl Dezi.
And it's Kelly. And this is Beast Friends. So, we got an interesting topic today. And we actually have heard many different opinions on this.
Too many.
So much so that we felt like we needed to share ours with all of our beasties, because it really is an important topic to cover, because you are not in beast mode if you are in any way, shape, or form not being real with yourself.
Keep it real.
So today we talk about how you are so cute, sis.
But you're not.
But you're not. You're cute on the outside.
Oh, you're cute, but you're not.
But inside it ain't together.
It's not. It's a big deal, man.
And it's okay. You just have to acknowledge that that's the case, and we got to work through it.
That's what you got to do.
Also, too, I would just like to say, put this disclaimer out there as soon as we get started by saying it's a journey. It's a process. There will be some days where you were, on point, feeling like you were very self-aware and able to move in an authentic way, and then there will be other days where
you want to be fake. No, seriously, you just gonna put the smile on and inside you're crying
and keep it moving. I know,
We've all done it.
But I do think it's important to understand how you should show up in the world, how you should be able to move through life in an authentic way. That's what I think I want to make sure that we're sharing with our beasties, because we've all had our masked moments.
So I have a question for my beasties out there.
Throw it out.
How many times have you had to be somewhere, show up as a certain self of yourself, and you put on a smile and were sick and dying on the inside?
Are you asking me? Is one
just
of your
asking
beasties?
The beasties. I mean, I'm wondering, do they feel like we feel like, oh, you cute, but you're not? Like, how many people really do this? I mean, especially women. How many times do we get up and we walk in strong and knowing and confident and getting the job done, and we go home and we cry our eyes out?
No, that's fair. I mean, that was me for years. I feel like I really
no judgment zone. We walking in it. I feel it coming. Discern only. Go ahead, friend.
Amen.
I was protecting you.
Thank you. Cover me. But yeah, I was doing it for years. I just feel like just recently I'm kind of like living my full truth and unapologetically. I think I felt a lot of pressure to like live up to others' expectations of me, like a lot of my life, actually. So it's been an interesting journey. But I will say I just got to a point where I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
That it's like I had to do something. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't blame anybody else anymore. Like I couldn't buy anything else. I couldn't go anywhere else, whatever. I think it was just literally getting to the point where like I've tried everything that is not me really, I guess you could say, self-analyzing, self-discovery, spiritually awakened. Like I've done everything outside of, honestly what I probably need to genuinely do to get to the other side, right? So I was just busy trying to be cute on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, we're taught that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like growing up, I remember, elders of mine saying things like, pull yourself together, wipe your tears, get back out there. Yeah. After I just whooped your butt in this bathroom, wipe your face and get out there, and you better put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's partly what we're taught even growing up, or, you at home and you dealing with a bunch of dysfunction and you got to go to school and prove that you're the smartest, that you're capable, that you can get a scholarship, that you can get things done. I mean, it's almost like the whole dynamic of raising these young, strong Black girls.
Yeah. And it's like, I think it's not as though anyone is, I guess you could say, meaning to do us a disservice.
No, I think it's out of ignorance. A lot of things happen out of just pure ignorance, not knowing that this actually is working against us and not for us.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, is I think it's just like, just a lack of understanding what it really means to feel good about yourself. Because I think that
I'm just starting, I'm like 100% real talk. I just realized that I'm like so dope and I really like myself. Like I just got to a place where if I met me and I wasn't me, I'd be happy about it.
You just got to that place?
I just got there.
Dang. Isn't that crazy? Because I mean, like I feel that way about you since like the day I met you.
Praise God.
And no, but for real, and I feel like so many other people probably feel like that too. But yeah, you have to like,
you gotta like and love
you
yourself.
have to really like and love yourself.
Yeah,
that's real. So what's interesting too is that I think, especially nowadays, what makes people feel good about themselves is so twisted, right?
Yeah, it's so superficial. It's so like based off of what they see. And I think a lot of times what we're doing is we're imitating what we think is happiness and joy and wealth and goodness instead of actually cultivating it.
And really truly experiencing that. So, okay, so we got a question. We have some friends in the studio today.
Beasties.
Yes. Hi, Beasties.
Hi, Beasties.
But one of the questions that was just raised here is like, how do you love yourself? Like, how do you authentically love yourself? Like, how do you get to that place? The first thing I'll say is I had to be like, zero fucks given on what you think about me. I don't care.
One of her moments. Like, cover, Lord, cover.
Just like, no, but really it was a situation where I had to be like, I don't really care about others' opinions of me as much as I care about how good do I feel.
Okay.
So I think it was in my career. It was also in my personal life. I would say nothing about me and my life at this point are traditional. Like there's no traditional path, you know, that I'm on, but it's the happiest I've ever been.
Wow,
so,
friend, good.
Thank you.
Share that energy. That's why you're looking rich.
Amen. Am I looking rich?
Your judge on point.
Is it?
For sure.
Thanks, friend. Zhuzh, yeah, everybody deserves to have some good zhuzh happening for their aura to be right.
So you're at the happiest place.
I am very happy right now. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, we're all works in progress, but I feel extremely happy with decisions I've made as of late because they're on my terms. It wasn't as a result of what someone else thought.
Good.
And it actually takes a lot of work to get to that point because it's easier for us to make decisions based on what other people think. Like, it's easier for us to make decisions.
Because then you can blame somebody else.
Exactly, based on what's popular. Like, it's easier to make those decisions in a way that's actually more arbitrary than really, like, having to turn the lens, you know, on yourself.
Well, for me, I was super not cute on the inside. I could pull it together on the outside. I'm actually a professional. I do this for a living.
We got that in common, beast friend.
Yeah, but the inside, I was like a beast in another way. And I think for me, how did I start loving myself is that first I had to come to grips with what my personal love language was for myself.
Like that. Yeah.
Because
set your boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, you know, success in business and having material things is cool, but it isn't really my thing. Like, my thing is like quality time and those intricacies, like knowing that I have to take a moment for myself and I can't feel guilty for that. And my moments aren't always going to be like a turn up with friends. It's not going to always be a man holding me or something like that. My moments for myself are times where I can just sit inside of my own peace of mind, like just gather my thoughts, get quiet and reflect on like what has happened, what's going on, what is happening. And really what that time is at the altar with God. I mean, y'all know I got to take y'all to church. I try not to, but
no, I love when you take us to church.
I mean, at the end of the day,
I need it.
I didn't even know how to love me because one, I didn't know what my love language was, and the reason why is because I didn't even know who I was. So once I got a grip on who was I, who did God create me to be, what is my persona, what are the things I'm good at, what are my passions, and then how can I apply this to make the things around me better and take true accountability for myself. Then I was able to sit back and go, okay, because I've accomplished that. Now I can actually love who I am because I'm genuine in that now.
And you talked about, and you just defined what that work is.
Yeah.
So when we talk about like, oh, it's easier to make decisions based on what other people think and it's more difficult when you have to turn the lens on you, like you just defined the work. So everybody, that's a cheat.
Write it down.
And it's not easy, but I honestly believe that Dezi just ran down like what you must do to really truly get to a place where you can love yourself. So I think I know the answer, friend, but I'm gonna let I'm gonna let you say it. What is your love language?
My personal or the ones I want from you and everybody else?
No, okay, so you could do both.
Okay.
So obviously, well, I shouldn't assume that everybody knows about the 5 love languages.
No, we shouldn't assume that.
Murray, what are the 5 love languages? Physical touch. Words of affirmation.
That's you, friend.
That is me. That's one of my love languages. Acts of service.
Acts of service is one.
Gift
Gifts,
giving.
that's me.
And quality time. I already know you. Why you do that?
Oh. I was giving you a cheat.
Whatever. I already know yours.
Yeah.
Well, wait. What's your second one? Is acts of service?
It is acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
I like to know someone's going to go out on a limb for me. Mm-hmm. Probably because I'm a very...
You loyal though. You a rider, so you need to feel like it's gonna be reciprocated. So okay, acts of service is one of mine, and then you already said my other one.
I think the acts of service is what kind of connects us.
That's true.
Yeah,
because I love that. Like I love to do for you because I know that like you know what I'm saying. You gonna ride for me and you gonna do for me.
Yeah, I gotta beat you up right there because you're a pretty good rider.
I'm just like, can you please
I'll put my ninja suit on.
Can you find the male version of you? Like, girl. It's ridiculous because I'm just like, I love.
That's another podcast.
I love Dezi so much. She needs to be my matchmaker. On top of everything else.
If I could matchmake you, I'd have matched myself.
No, sometimes we're better at like identifying partners for other people or for our friends.
I guess some people owe me a finder's fee.
I'm going on a tangent, but
complete tangent.
Sorry, but I'm just saying, as we even talk about being cute on the inside, right? Like I so often am like, I'm so happy I've gotten to this place to know not only like what I think I want, but definitely what I don't want.
Well, that only came because you got to know yourself. And that's the part about being cute on the inside and not just on the outside. You know, I recently had a post up and it was just saying like, you can't just be cute, sis. You got to have a prayer life.
Amen. I saw that. I love that.
And it's so important. And people think prayer is just wishing and wanting and asking for something. But prayer is really just having that time to communicate within yourself. Mm-hmm. Like people don't realize God is not this imaginary force. He's inside of us. Honey, you got to get to know you. You got to get to know the God in you.
Amen. Yeah.
Because then you get empowered. You don't need other people to signify or justify who and what you are. Like you start to lean on yourself. And then that's where the cute is. It's not.
Amen.
It's not the Maybelline because like all that gets wiped off. Then what do you do?
Amen. And you know what? I get a little wild sometimes. I'm a work in progress, but I know whose I am.
You definitely
just
know
for the record.
Who you are.
Just for the record, I'm working. I'm working on it.
Stop working on it so much. Just be yourself.
I am myself. I do feel like I'm consistent.
I see more of yourself than I used to.
Oh, thanks, friend. That's a serious compliment.
It is.
Oh my gosh, that's more than a compliment. You just know my soul. It's too much for me sometimes. It's overwhelming.
She likes those words of affirmation.
I do. Look, we just proved it.
Proof. So, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you love yourself all the way?
So I gave you one example.
You did all the way.
I think the other way in which I love myself is that I love who I am to other people now that I'm more confident in myself.
I'm glad you said that.
I just love...
Because that is important to you.
It is important to me.
And I think it's important to all of us. And we always deny that. We always go, I don't care what other people...
No, I love who I am. I love who I am. It's like I don't care about what people think of me. Especially people... When I say people, I mean, you know...
Not beasties.
Not beasties. Like, you just give too much power to those who really don't have your best interest at heart, right?
Good point.
But I love who I am to the people who I love and care about so much and vice versa. Like, I'm just that much better to them and for them now that I am more in touch, you know what I'm saying, with who I am genuinely.
Yeah.
So, it just makes me feel so full.
Oh, I like that word.
Like I love, I think I'm, I've leveled up as a mom. I feel like I've leveled up in business as a friend. I think now too, I'm like better prepared for my future husband. Like,
go friend, go.
Hey, I just say it.
So as you were talking, I was just thinking about when I'm saying to a beastie, like, how do I get cute on the inside? And I hate even saying that word because it does non-existent on the inside. The inside isn't really meant to be cute. The inside needs to be cleaned out. We have to be empty vessels. And because it's almost like what you said, your reflection is not really of you. It's of how you treat other people. That's why God says to love your neighbor as you would love yourself, because you guys share the same inside. We share the God inside of us. And so if we have a bunch of clutter in the way, then it prevents us from connecting fully and really working to do and be how you just said you are, loving who you are toward the people that you're supposed to be a certain way to and the people you care about. So in a more practical way, I would say we oftentimes think of self-care on the outer as well, but we need to start thinking of what are some actual steps we can take on the inside to promote self-care that we can get better and, declutter on the inside. I mean,
so I have a few that I know that I now practice on a regular basis, and that is, first of all, we talk about it, we check each other on it, but it's managing the mouth.
Yeah, that's one of my big ones.
That's a huge one for you, and it's been so great because it's been a constant reminder for me. We talked about it on Ask Anything with Dezi.
Yeah, we sure did. Ask Anything. Plug. That's a full plug.
Ask Anything with Dezi.
You got to check it out, guys.
On the Word Network, Season 2.
Season 2's coming, beasties.
So just one example of one of our lovely collaborations, but tangent, back on track. So we talked about that, and this is an example of how we don't just practice what we preach. We preach what we practice. Amen. So managing my mouth is one. And then also, too, I try to start my days. I really try. I'm not always consistent, but I try to start my days like looking at something or viewing something that is going to encourage me in some way, and just starting my day saying, thank you, Lord. Like just waking up.
The attitude of gratitude.
Exactly. Waking up with that spirit of gratitude. It'll be something as simple as I'll open my eyes and I'll look around my bedroom and I'll just say, I love my home. Like
I love your home too, actually. So don't think you feel that way yourself.
I'm just saying, I'm thankful. I'm just thankful. So those are some things that I do. And then also, too, I try to pay attention to, like we said earlier, just how I'm making other people feel, and try to be a bit more patient.
So not caring what people think, but just caring about how you treat people.
Correct.
That's good.
Like, I just want to make sure that the way in which I interact with others is always constructive.
Good. Mm-hmm. So for me, one of the things I have to do, and a process that I like, some of it I've done and I don't think I have to necessarily do again so much, but I had to forgive myself because I held up a lot of guilt and shame of things that I had experienced and had taken part in just growing up and living life, and some of my selfishness and just not being considerate of other people and life, you know what I mean? And mostly really feeling like God was looking at me one way, and I had to realize that he never even cared about that, because love covers the multitude of sin, but more so that it was me looking at myself like that. So I had to forgive myself. And it wasn't like I slit somebody's throat and needed to forgive myself for that. And if you did slit somebody's throat, forgive yourself. But more so just knowing, how you do things, and it's like other people don't know what your intention is, but you know what your intention is. So I tend to have experienced the gift of certain things. Like I could get things done because of my persuasive ways. And so sometimes I wasn't always going into relationships with the best intention.
Okay.
But not to do anybody harm, but just to get what I wanted.
Right, yeah.
And so I had to forgive myself for that. And I had to actually deal with some of the things that had stuck with me from childhood. So like abandonment was a big deal, and I didn't know that it was something that was so prevalent until I actually thought about it and spent time. That's why I had to have that time by myself, because that was nobody else's business. Yeah. I had to dig and deal with that myself. Like sometimes you can't let somebody else dig your grave. You have to dig your own, because there's only certain stuff that goes in there. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally.
So the abandonment, I thought that I was past it. You know what I mean? Because I just always felt like I'm an overcomer. I'm not really caught up in who wasn't and who didn't, because I'm good. Yeah. But I was not good. Right. I was so hurt.
You were suppressing it.
I was suppressing it in full denial that there was this big void. It was like this big hole inside of me, and it caused me to react to other people a certain way. I had this wall up. It was like, you can never hurt me because I won't let you that far in, or you can never leave me because I'll leave you first. Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple guys that have known me throughout my life. They call me a man eater because they're like, girl, you pick them up and drop them down. And I'm like, that's not cute. So things like that. The abandonment was a big issue. I mean, I grew up not knowing my biological mother and just dealing with a different level of abandonment as far as like dealing with a drug addicted father, an alcoholic grandmother who was there but not always present. Mm-hmm. So even in that, like having that emotional abandonment. So I had to deal with those type of things. And so I think sometimes beyond what we see and we can actually touch, we have to deal with the things that are inside of our garden, inside of our soil, you know, that kind of like choke the good things out. Yeah. You know, and keep us from really experiencing that abundant and fullness of life.
You had to kill the weeds.
I did. I really did. And I had to acknowledge that they were even there, because sometimes weeds, when they get really big, they start looking like bushes. So you won't know. No, that's true. So yeah. So that was one of my,
no, but that's huge. And you did a good job at kind of like talking about it from a macro perspective, because there are certain things that you have to deal with before you can even make things work for you in daily practice, right? So there are like those huge like those boulders that you need to, you know what I'm saying?
I think the Bible calls it beauty for ashes.
Amen. Yes.
You know, out of the ugly is where you really get the cute.
Exactly. So that's a great way to bring it full circle, because you do have to deal with the ugly. So many of us are wrapped up in how to be cute and what the cute looks like. Yeah. And we haven't even attempted to deal with the ugly.
Yeah, embrace it.
It's right. And I think for me, I beat myself up a lot about decisions that I made in the past. Yeah. So I was looking at it from a frame of regret instead of lessons. That's you good. Know? And so that was something that I had to kind of just, sometimes it's perspective. And
I think almost all the time it's perspective.
And thinking about things in a different way can sometimes release you from a lot.
Yeah.
And training yourself to really come at it from a different angle, it really can make all the difference in how you move through life. So yeah, I'm hoping that fell on these ears as a cheat.
It was a cheat, y'all. This is one of those moments where, you know, usually we're laughing and giggling, but I just had this moment in my belly where I just remembered being a kid and wanting to be bigger than the hurt that I was experiencing. Yeah. You know, be able to really like step on top of it and kind of beat it up. And I feel like I finally got to that place.
Oh, I love it, friend.
You know, and sometimes we don't have to necessarily beat it up. We just need to step on it so we can get to the next thing, right?
We got to use it as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, it's just such a blessing that we like can move through these things together, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, from people looking from the outside in, my life has been very charming, and a lot about it has.
Oh, you cute.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot about it has been very, very charming, but there have definitely been some things that, you know, I've had to work through, like you said, like on my own, because it was only my business to,
give me one,
to deal with. I think because my life was so charmed, when I was unhappy about things or I was unsettled about things, I suppressed that, and I worry more about the cute, because I almost felt like I was ungrateful by having those feelings. Like, instead of it showing up as like, Kelli, you need to deal with what makes you happy and what makes you tick and figure out why you feel so unsettled or unfulfilled, I would suppress those things and worry about what I looked like to other people, because I almost felt guilty. Like, how you're not allowed to feel this way. Like, everything about your life is so wonderful. Like, you're not allowed to be unhappy about anything or be unsettled about anything. Those feelings don't apply to you, because, you know, that's ungrateful of you. So I dealt with that a lot, just because I didn't want to be a disappointment. Why did your life look wonderful?
They digging in your garden, baby.
Jesus, honey.
I mean, have y'all met her? Turn on your TV, put on your IG. She look wonderful.
So that was the question that I just got in the studio. Why did your life look wonderful? Okay, so I think my life looked wonderful because, you know, I had a 2-parent household. They did very well. They exposed me to a lot. I experienced a lot. You know, I guess what? For all intents and purposes, I was privileged. And they still
her spoon was platinum, y'all. I'm just saying. I had plastic forks, but she definitely had a platinum.
Don't act like that.
But I ain't mad. You know what I'm saying?
But I will say, though, that my parents were very diligent about making me a balanced person. Like, they spoiled me, but I was never spoiled rotten.
You a full gangster.
I was never spoiled rotten. They always made sure that, I was cognizant and compassionate toward other people. But I think the issue was that I didn't make a lot of decisions for myself.
Yeah.
I had a path that was laid out for me that I was to follow. And again, it wasn't them doing anything but loving me and trying to protect me and doing their best to create this wonderful life for their child. But it was robotic. There was nothing about it that challenged me to know myself. It was like me doing what I was supposed to do all the time, as opposed to what God's purpose was for me.
All right, church, bring us there, Kels.
I'm just saying. And so I wasn't cute on the inside as a result. I didn't even, what was my inside? Like, It wasn't even really mine. So that's
another cheat, y'all. You gotta grab a hold of your own self.
You really do.
No matter what. You can't live your life based off of what other people predict or think for you. You gotta have your own identity and know who you are in order to be cute and to be right and to be what you're supposed to be.
No matter how charming and cute the path is looking like or laid out for you,
it just might not be yours.
And you're gonna be doing yourself a disservice if you don't get to what really makes you tick and what you're passionate about.
I hate our times run out.
I know. We always get into
like
it.
This.
I know.
But I do want to say this real quick, because when you were talking, it was like I felt this nudge to share this with our beasties. The biggest thing about being cute and all that, we use this term as we're just saying it in the cliche of it, that, oh, you cute. It's the way you really gather yourself and be attractive and attract what you're looking for, what you believe is for you, is that you got to get your inside together, because it's not really this physical that we live in that matters so much. It's the energy and the love that you give out. You know what I'm saying? It's that really matters. That's what makes you attractive. That's what makes you cute, is that your inside good. Like, I can walk in a room with makeup or without makeup, with my links and my weave in and without it, but people are always attracted to me because it's the God in me that I have. Things are decluttered so he can shine through me. And because I love myself, that energy is just gonna go forward.
And that's as real as it gets. And I think the breakdown in a lot of relationships is insecurity.
Period.
So we gotta get to that. We gotta get to that next episode. And also too, we're always willing to do a part 2. So make sure you DM us, you comment on our YouTube. Go ahead and get that book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. So that actually is a great book. It a little Good reference. More. Yes.
Until next time. All right, VCs, we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.